Hello everybody and welcome to Cinematography. It's myself George, and tonight this video is going very early in the morning. This evening, this morning, whatever country you're in, I am bringing a review for The Northman, the third film directed by Robert Eggers, released in cinemas this Friday the 15th of April in the UK, next Friday the 22nd in America. And I have some very strong feelings about this one, which I can't wait to talk to you all about. So before I do get into the review, please do comment your thoughts. If you have seen The Northman, you've been very lucky to see, or if you're watching it from down the line after it's been released to cinema, please do comment your thoughts. This was a tremendous experience, which I can't wait to talk about, and I really want to know what other people are thinking about this, because everyone's had sort of different reactions, or they've been thinking about it in different yet similar ways. It's just been fascinating discussing with people so far, so please do comment that below. And if you are new to the channel, of course we're a film channel, a lot of film stuff happening there. Please do hit that subscribe button, a lot more new releases on the way. Hopefully, like this film, we can bring them actually a little bit earlier, and we can only do that with your support, so please do keep it coming. Hit the like button, do comment, subscribe, and of course if you're new to the channel, if you don't know what we do, of course we are a film channel. You can follow us on all of our social medias below. That is Twitter at cinema_savvy, Facebook and letterboxd.com/cinemasavvy, and we have links to the TeePublic store in that description below. But as I said, we're here to support The Northman, and this is a film that I've just come back from London this evening, so it's just hit midnight. Literally a carbon copy of Fantastic Beasts last week, and I've been very lucky to see the film early in the Picture House Central, and there was a lot of hype heading in for this. And I think it's really fair to sort of talk about my background with Robert Eggers' work. So I haven't seen the Witch or Vitch, however people choose to pronounce it. I've heard really good stuff about it. I have seen The Lighthouse. I absolutely love The Lighthouse, and if you've been with us long enough, that was the first ever red carpet we got to cover as a channel. So there is actually an interview from that red carpet on our channel if you do want to search that, one of the London film festivals, and I had a lot of fun time with that film. I think Tate was on the review for that. He met Willem Dafoe at the screening for that. So when The Northman got announced, or slash was in production, the third Rob Eggers film, I didn't read too much about it. I don't tend to read unless it's like the mega directors I'm really involved in, or certain actors I follow who I'll always check their projects. And I was like, you know what, I really enjoyed The Lighthouse, so I'm going to let this slide. I'll see what happens. I'll wait to see some trailers. And then when the trailers came online, I didn't see any of them. I chose not to. It wasn't I'm just not going to do it. I just thought, you know what, I really want to see this new film of his without trying to go in as cold as possible. And you know, the amount of films we see at the cinema, that can be very hard to do. And I was very fortunate I was able to do it for this. So I knew absolutely nothing about this film. The only thing I had seen about this was the GIFs everyone was using on Twitter, which is fine. And obviously the posters. So there's been some jokes of America they forgot to print the title on. You've had some really good posters, some really bad posters. So I've seen that coverage from it, and of course, you know, I knew some of the cast involved, and at least the very logic that it is a sort of a Viking type film. And I think that's a really important way to start this, is that my background with, you know, real life history stuff like this, it's very minimal. My background, you know, I've not really studied history. I've not done anything like that for a very long time. Even when I was at school, it was all modern history. So I know next nothing. And what surprised me actually reading about this film, finding out about this film on the train journey home tonight, is that this is the story that inspired Hamlet. So when a lot of people do come out and say, oh, this is going to be like Hamlet, the reality is that no, Shakespeare wrote Hamlet based off the legend of Amleth, which this does cover, which is incredible in its own right. I'm not saying that the fact is nicked, it's the fact that this is something that one of, you know, the most historical, famous books, plays, whatever, is based off. You know, look at stuff like The Lion King. People say, oh, it's like Hamlet. And you get that conversation so much. It was amazing to read that today. That this is really what inspired it. And, you know, just getting into the film, getting into the screen tonight, it was incredible. I've not seen... I don't want to say I've not ever seen a film like this. This is a revenge film at heart. If you're familiar with Hamlet, you'll be familiar with the story, no doubt. But what the joy from this film comes from is the craft, the direction. This is Robert Eggers' third film. This is an incredible third film. I'm trying to sort of break down, you know, yes, you can look at it from a sense of there's violence, there's action, there's this, but the actual production of the film, the fact it's shot on location, something Reese, who's been on the channel, was chatting to me tonight. As I said, I've not seen The Witch. That was in an isolated setting. The Lighthouse, an isolated setting. This is the first time we've been able to see him not just go on location, but, you know, tell a story going to different locations and, you know, different areas, and obviously exploring a historical setting makes that sort of stuff so much more fun, but also it's actually harder to shoot. Especially this did shoot across COVID as well. This was, I think, filming at the end of 2020. And that's what's been amazing. The more I've seen about this film is the attention to detail and what Robert Eggers has tried to do, bringing in some more of the real life historical stuff, the things that people necessarily don't speak about anymore, but also things that people aren't going to be aware of. You know, yes, people know what Vikings like, but not everyone knows that, you know, they were, you know, very, not just brutal, it's an insulting word, but, you know, they would, you know, rape, massacre villages, torment, kill people, leave them left. All that kind of stuff is real life things. But this film explores in a way that this is telling the story, that it wants to tell the story of the prince that was taken from his, you know, his dad's killed. It's in the trailer. It's taken from him. He's got to escape, and then we're going to get the revenge story X amount of years later. I'm going to leave it as simple as that. Go into this one cold, so I'm not going to explore the plot too much, but I really want to talk about the performances now. So we have Alexander Skarsgård playing the role of Amleth. Now, I've not seen him in a lot of things. I know a lot of Skarsgårds, and I do get a lot of them mixed up, which is on me. But I thought he was incredible in this. Obviously, you've just seen his abs all over the posters, how built he's got for this, the hair and everything. This is one of the more intriguing performances, I think, not just of this film, but of many films, is a fantastic physical performance. Now, people might laugh at something like that. This isn't a performance that's about dialogue, that's about, you know, people, per se, like facial expressions. This is a very toned down individual, and I think this is actually one of its strongest points of this film, that we know what has happened to him, we know what his journey is, and he needs to be able to deliver a physical performance to take you to that. And, you know, you got fight scenes where you've got these incredible one shot takes, and, you know, it's all shot in camera, and you've got to think about the prep they had to do for this, to even for a long take as well. There's no over editing, there's nothing simplified. We just get to sit there, watch it from a distance, and just view the action. It's amazing what he's able to do in this film. I don't know how on earth they would have choreographed some of the scenes they did. It is so brutal to watch, and going in hand with that, you've got stuff like the cinematography, which I really have to speak about. This is gonna, I hate using the term like award season next year, but this is right up there. You know, not just talking about the scenery and the locations and stuff like that. It's things like the lighting and what we're able to see from this world. It's really quite daring, I think, if I'm being honest, watching some of this, because there's such an easy route to take. You could do stuff like CGI, you could go to field anywhere, but I feel like I've been transported back to, what is it, 900 AD. This is set in early 900 AD or something like that. 895 it begins in, and it goes up a few years. What fascinated me was how authentic it felt, and that isn't just a preparation to the cinematography, all that. It's the costume design, it's the production design, it's the performances from the cast. Nobody stands out like they're from a different era, and that's very often an issue with films that do historical things like that. You can look at them and see that's somebody from 2020. You know, it might be the facial expressions, it might be their hair, it could be anything, and this film doesn't fall into any of that. This sets itself up, it makes itself stand out, be unique to itself, which I think very few period pieces do properly anymore. And certainly when some of those films do age, this one, I'm pretty confident it's going to age like absolute fine wine. It was absolutely remarkable seeing all this on screen, but now I've got to really talk about some of the stuff everyone's going to be talking about, which is the violence. Obviously, you can't do this era of history, this story itself, in a nice way. There's no nice way about it. I was very surprised to see it. It's got a rated 15 by the BBFC here in the UK. It should be an 18 minimum. If you're into the action stuff, it does have action, but it is brutal, and brutal is not an understatement of this film. There are moments where the audience were almost, you know, silent. You could hear a pin drop, and what they do with this, it is just showing us what the world was like back then, what they were like. And I think with the Vikings, very much of the religious aspect of things, we're able to see, you know, how they will just sacrifice. And it's kind of misogyny. I'm not too familiar with the whole history of it, but, you know, you would see people being sacrificed left, right and centre, or they take their pickings from a village they've raided, and things like that is very haunting, and it never has to show too much of it for you to understand how haunting that's going to be. And again, I don't think many films can take that approach. I think Rob Eggers has a real authentic approach to this, and how he's gone to this film is so different from the normal studio system. You know, there's no A-listers trucked around left, right and centre in this ensemble as well. You know, as I mentioned, we've got Alexander Skarsgård in there, we've got Ethan Hawke playing the father, we've got Claes Bang playing Fiona, who is his uncle, who obviously is involved with that. We've got Nicole Kidman playing Queen Gudrun in this one, which I think very underrated performance from her. I think she's fantastic in this. I think a lot of people will be speaking about her very small role, but she leaves such an impact on every single scene she's in. And of course we've got Anya Taylor-Joy playing the role of Olga, who was in The Witch as well. Got to bring her up, she's phenomenal in this film. Great relationship with Alexander Skarsgård in it. It feels like two genuine people from that time coming together, their conversations. And then obviously, you know, Robert Eggers, of course, we have The Lighthouse, we get Willem Dafoe. He's never not welcome ever in a film. Willem Dafoe is this level for me of Sam Jackson where he could turn up in any film ever made, and I'm not going to have a problem with it. Doesn't matter if he's in it for 1 minute, 2 minutes, 5, whole hour, lead role, fine. Chuck him in a film, it's going to work in your favour, and we get some fantastic scenes from him, and it's just lovely to go back to things like The Lighthouse. And I'm going to rewatch it later this week, I think, because I've just had so much joy watching this with a new Robert Eggers film, and I think I need to go see The Witches. I haven't seen that yet, but I've not spoken about the soundtrack either, which is also one of its many, many fantastic elements. Doesn't feel like a modern film in the sense that the soundtrack is so inclined to the era, using instruments from that time. It's never overused. You're not getting into modern technology with it. There's not that we need electronica stuff, but when you see blockbusters doing stuff like Vikings, I think Gladiator is a really unfair but easy comparison that is one of Hans Zimmer's best scores. There are elements of that feel so modern. You never get that with this, and I think that's the difference with film arts. They take that unique approach to it, which other films don't do in this situation, and it just leaves you wanting more. And the soundtrack itself is just absolutely superb, and I can't wait to see it released so I can listen to it a bit longer, because when you've got all these fantastic elements happening on screen, you've got your production right, you've got your cast right, you've got the film, the direction, everything working. You need the scores to go on top of it, and the score accommodates it so well, and it's just another added bonus. I've been lauding this film. This film is absolutely incredible. I'm heading into some of my final thoughts. Go and see it at the cinema. Please see it at the cinema. The audio in this film, not just soundtrack, but the actual sound design itself, really needs to be seen to be, to get the fair viewing of it. And you want that experience. You want the dim lights. You don't want people talking around you. You don't want people on their phones. You want to watch this film in the best possible way, and this is 100% a must-see viewing at the cinema. Do go and see this film upon its release. I'd love to be able to chat some more about this. I'm going to go again later this week. Honestly, I've had such an amazing time tonight watching it. Very grateful for the chance to do this, as I always am for stuff like this. But yeah, if I'm going to try and epitomise this final thoughts anymore, easily film of the year so far. Maybe one of the best films of the last few years I've seen. That's a hell of a statement. Obviously, it's been my first viewing tonight. I'm very, very excited for round 2 to see if that bold claim does hold up, because it is right up there. It's everything it could have been and more. I'm honestly blown away at this film, and when the lights came up, I just needed to sit there and just take it in, like what we'd witnessed. You just needed to take it in, and it was kind of the same for everyone there. When we came up with chat meets with a few people that had been on the channel before, we had Jed Reese and a few really great people on YouTube. Everyone's just kind of sat there don't know what to say. It left us speechless, and that's such a rare thing these days. And I'm just going to say again, see this film. This film is an absolute masterpiece. If you're not familiar with Robert Eggers' work, obviously watch this. Watch the other two. I'm behind. I've got to see one more. You're not going to be wasting any of your time doing so. You're going to have an absolutely fantastic time viewing them. So that's going to wrap it up for this review. I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope this isn't the ramblings of a madman talking about how much he enjoyed a film. It's really got to be seen to be believed at how incredible this is, and I think this is a film we'll be talking about for not just the rest of this year but for all the years to come. And immediately I'm sat here thinking, are we going to get Robert Eggers' Nosferatu film? That's something that I've been very much anticipating. Whether it happens is another question based off some interviews this week, but yeah, what a fabulous career. I cannot wait to see more from him, and he's really up there for me in terms of looking forward to new projects from directors. And yeah, this film is just phenomenal. So that being said, please do comment your thoughts on The Northman. If you have seen it, comment them. Am I coming across too insane, too over the top? I'm not going to obviously gear it by an axe with that ridiculous stuff, but this is honestly just, it's made me want to go read some textbooks, which I can't say for a very long time for history stuff. It has really grabbed me in a way like that. So yes, please do like, comment, share, subscribe. Social medias as well, Twitter @cinema_savvy, Facebook and letterboxd.com/cinemasavvy. A link to TeePublic in that description down below. We've got a lot of things happening on the channel. We've got the Steven Spielberg retrospective. When this video goes up, I'll have a review for Jaws later tonight as we reach his big third film. Fantastic discussion. I can't wait for you guys to check that one out. I'm scared of sharks, so that's a conversation within itself, but really good setup there. We've got Reese from Rios Positive POV and Cam from Spy House joining us on for that one. And with a lot of other reviews coming, there's some big films coming out over the next couple of weeks. There's some weeks where there's no films coming out, so do stick with us. There's going to be some interesting videos. We've got a lot of stuff in the pipeline for May. May's going to be a very big month. Certain Obi-Wan Kenobi series, and there's going to be a lot of build up to that. So we'll have an announcement video at the end of May for all the madness we've got planned for March. So not March, for May. So once again, thank you all for watching. Be sure to join us on the next one, and take care.